Srimad Bhagavatam 5:14-37. Can somebody check if the audio is coming through all right? That's true. Evam vitta vyatishanga vivriddha vaira anubandha api purva vasanaya mitha udvahati atha apavahati evam vitta vyatishanga vivriddha vairānubandhopi purvavasanaya mitha udvahatyathaapavahati. Evam, in this way, vitta vyatishanga, because of monetary transactions, vivriddha, increased, vaira anubandha, having relationships of enmity, api, although, purva vasanaya, by the fructifying results of previous impious activities, mitha, with each other, udvahati, become united by means of the marriage of sons and daughters. Atha, thereafter, apavahati, they give up the marriage or get a divorce. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Although people may be enemies, in order to fulfill their desires again and again, they sometimes get married. Unfortunately, these marriages do not last very long, and the people involved are separated again by divorce or other means. Please repeat. Although people may be enemies, in order to fulfill their desires again and again, they sometimes get married. Unfortunately, these marriages do not last very long, and the people involved are separated again by divorce or other means. Purport. As stated previously, every conditioned soul has the propensity to cheat even in marriage. Everywhere in this material world, one conditioned soul is envious of another. For the time being, people may remain friends, but eventually they become enemies again and fight over money. Sometimes they marry and then separate by divorce or other means. On the whole, unity is never permanent. Due to the cheating propensity, both parties always remain envious. Even in Krishna consciousness, separation and enmity take place due to the prominence of material propensities. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Saprajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Vairanubandha, in this verse, Vairanubandha. Vaira means enemy. Where did you anytime come across this word Vaira? Does this remind you of any shloka? Bhagavad Gita 3:37. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kama Esha Krodha Esha Rajo Guna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapatma Vidhyenam Iha Vairinam. Vairinam means enemy, greatest enemy. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead said it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Lust. So this lust usually is understood as sexual attraction, but that alone is not lust. That is the pinnacle of lust. That is the Adirasa of material world. Adirasa means the highest pleasure of the material world is sex. But everything, what is actually lust? What is the definition of lust? Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami defined lust as CC Adi 4.165. Atmendriya priti vancha tare boli kam, Krishnendriya priti ichha dhare prem naam. What is lust? The desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, lust. But the desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is prema, love. So everything that goes on in the name of love in this material world is actually lust. Because the desire is to satisfy one's own senses. So that is the definition of lust. And it can be any way. Like if I want to eat something, that is lust. If I want to enjoy money, that is also lust. Anything, if I want to enjoy it, that is lust. Kama. Yeah. So this kama esha, krodha esha. So after kama will come krodha. Because this lust is not going to be satisfied. It can never be satisfied. The more we try to satisfy it, the more it will demand. And that is explained in the right next verse. No, the next, I think 339. Not this. Yeah. Avritam jnanametena jnanino nityavairina. Again, vairina. And it's nityavairina. It's not an enemy for some time. Nityavairina. Avritam jnanametena. You see, the potency of lust is avritam jnanam. It will cover our real knowledge. Avritam jnanametena jnanino nityavairina kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha. Thus, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and which burns like fire. And this never satisfied and burning like fire is more explicitly described, I think, in Bhagavatam 9:19-16. Not wrong. I think 9:19-14. This is called transcendental gambling. I don't know what verse it is. Yeah. न जातु कामः कामानाम् उपभोगेन शाम्यति हविषा कृष्णवर्त्मेव भूय एवाभिवर्धते. As supplying butter to a fire does not diminish the fire, but instead increases it more and more, the endeavor to stop lusty desires by continual enjoyment can never be successful. In fact, one must voluntarily cease from material desires. So it burns like fire means the more we try to satisfy it by giving it Havisha Krishnavartmeva. Havisha means butter. If we give, fire is burning, let me satisfy the fire by giving some butter, it will increase more and demand more butter, more oil or butter or anything that is flammable. It will demand more fuel. So lust is like the fuel. So therefore, Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Vairagya is necessary. Renunciation. Whether one is brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, always renunciation is advised. It's not that grihastha means sense gratification. It's a license for unbridled sense gratification. No. It's regulated sense gratification. In fact, for the other three ashrams, no sense gratification as much as possible. Of course, eating we must eat, sleeping we must sleep. That too minimized. Sex is completely off for three ashrams: brahmachari, vanaprastha, sannyas. Only grihastha, and that too under regulation for progeny and raising them in Krishna consciousness. That's the only license. So, if something is good, why should it be limited? Like chanting. What is that? Satatam kirtayanto mam. Krishna says, my devotees always chant about me. Kirtaniya sadahari. There is no, Niyamita smaranena kala. There is no rules when you should chant, when you should not chant, where you can chant, where you cannot chant. No. Anything that is good will be unlimitedly encouraged. Whereas anything that is problematic, then there is licensing. Like driving, you need a license because it can be problematic, right? If you don't know how to drive, just drive. What will happen? Accident. So you have to control and then regulate. Then there will be safety on the road. There is licensing, there is rules and regulations. So, because it is Vairanubandha, and today's verse, it is said Vairanubandha. It's interesting. Enmity is also a bondage. Usually we consider affection as bondage, right? If we are affectionate to someone, then that will be a bondage in this material world. That is understood. Like we have family members, we have parents, we have children, we have other relatives. This is anubandha. But here the word is used vairanubandha. How can we be attached to enemies? Vaira means enemy. Anubandha. So attached to enemy, in fact, enemies sometimes end up as family members. Because if I suppose owe something to someone, then in this life I become a family member so that I will serve. So in this way I am forced to serve. So it is not like, I cheated him, I got away with it. No, you're never going to get away, actually. You will never get away. You will have to take another birth to repay it back, if not in this life. That's why, if I kill someone, I will have to be killed, either by the state, by the government, hanged, or if government does not punish me, then next life I will have to be killed in another murder scene. So it will always come back. That is called karma. If I do something, it will come back. So Vairanubandha. And also, if I create enmity with someone, then I can expect viciousness from that person also, right? So I am becoming bound by that enmity. Or even if that other person does not uh, consider me as an enemy, if I consider him as an enemy, my mind is disturbed. Anubandha. I will be entrapped by those thoughts of enmity. Because by enmity also our focus is there. You know, if suppose India, Pakistan, say, Indians are always thinking, oh, Pakistan, they're always doing something. So he is meditating. Where are the military outposts? Where is the terrorist outpost? Where is always meditating on all the terrain of Pakistan? There's so much meditation on Pakistan. Similarly, Pakistan on India, or China, or Israel, Palestine, whatever, wherever you take it. Enmity creates bondage because what is bondage? Actually, what is bondage? Bondage means when I'm thinking of something, that is bondage. Because that thought will, what is that? I'm associating with that thought. And that thought, if it is strong enough, then at the end of life, it can influence our mind. And next life, I will be taking birth according to that thought at the end of life. Right? So, Anubandha means how my mind, where my mind is, I am attached to that. That is the actual meaning of bondage. Now, we are not Swarat. We are not independent. Like we cannot, like Krishna, he is independent, Swarat. He doesn't need to be bonded to anyone. Like for example, whether I like it or not, I am bound to my job. Say for example, right? I'm working somewhere and I'm bound. I'm bound to my boss. I'm bound to the company that I'm working in. I'm bound to the country I'm working in. So I'm bound. But that is inevitable because we have to be maintained, right? So in order to maintain myself, I have to bind myself to something, somewhere. Whereas Krishna does not need such bondage. He exists. In fact, Eko Bahunam Yugadadhati Kama. Actually, Krishna supplies for everyone. So he doesn't need any supply. And Krishna supplies through agents, sub-agents, sub-agents, through the chain, supply chain, they call it in business. Supply chain. From the farm, the vegetables the farmer grows, and then somebody will pick up, transport, and then collected by some business magnate who collects from many farms, and then wholesaler, and then he will sell to resellers, all distributors, and then they to retailers, and finally it was many hands that will transfer, right? So similarly, Krishna also supplies us everything through this supply chain. For example, when the child is in the womb of the mother, he is being supplied by the placenta of the mother. And actually, the mother has no idea. But a whole organ is being developed when the child is there in order to supply all nutrients. Right? And when the child comes out, the placenta is cut off. But then immediately there is milk in the breasts of the mother. Immediately to feed. Who's giving this? Who's making these arrangements? Immediately. Until then, no milk. Suddenly there is milk. So, through the mother, through the father. So these are all agents, in the supply chain, the last supply chain. Mother is also getting from somewhere and somewhere and somewhere. Ultimately, the 8 material elements: Bhumi, Apa, Analo, Vayu, Kham, Mano, Buddhi, Vacha, Ahankara, Nitiyam, Bhinna, Prakriti, Rashtala. So, especially this Panchabhuta are gross material elements. And don't forget, the mind, intelligence, ego also are elements that are supporting the baby. For example, if the mother has no affection for the child, she would not want to feed the child. I mean, the child is not going to pay anything, and the mother will have a 24/7 job, right? Being woken up in the middle of the night multiple times, crying at the top of the voice. How much? I mean, if a boss shouts like that, middle of the night, call and shout, immediately quit, no? But mother cannot quit. So it's a job, 24/7 job. But mother happily does it. Even if she's stressed, she will still do it. Because why? Affection. Krishna also makes the child cute. Otherwise, why will the mother serve? So child, whatever, moving in a little bit, trying to talk, trying to move, everything looks cute. And for the child to come out from the birth canal, if the shoulders are as wide as they are now, and the head is like this, the child will come out. So the shoulders have to be very narrow. The head has to be big. If you see, that's why in India, sometimes the parents, they try to have double promotion of the child, want to get education faster. No? So at instead of 4 years LKG, lower kindergarten, 3 years they want to put, or first class, they want to put at instead of 6 years old, 5 years old, they want to put in the child inside so that you will have early education. Sometimes how they check, I actually knew this only a couple of years back. They asked to put the hand like this, the child hand like this. If he can touch his ear, that means he is 5 years old at least. If he cannot, he is less than 5. Because his head is too big, the hand won't touch. You cannot touch the ear. You try when any child, small child, you make the child like this, he cannot touch the ear. So the head is big and the shoulders and hand is all small, different proportion. Looks like I call them lollipops. So that also serves one purpose, but also the child looks cute like that, like a cartoon character. When they grow like 6 years old, 7 years, then their proportion will change. You see the children, the proportion will change. The hands become longer. The head seemingly seems smaller, but actually the shoulders, widen and everything. So unless that affection is there, so mind is also there. So Krishna has created in such a way that the maintenance of that child who is so helpless and he cannot pay anyone for his maintenance. He needs servant. Like he is just lying down. He needs servant. Who is that servant? Who's going to serve? Mother will serve. So in this way, Krishna is inducing his downline, his supply chain, to supply to everyone. Eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. He supplies to everyone in his own way. Now, Vairanubandha. So by this enmity, sometimes we become bound. And api purva vasanaya. Vasana means what? What? Taste. Actually, vasana means flavor. In Telugu, vasana means smell. And actually, that's the correct translation. Vasanaya, here you see how it is translated. Purva vasanaya, by the fructifying results of previous impious activities. Why it looks different? It's not. If you see this verse, these 3 verses, 15, 8, 9, and 10. Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramati gृहीत्वैतानि samyati vayurgandhan ivashayat. What is that? The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. So Prabhupada explained this very nicely. The living entity here is compared to the air, and his different conceptions of life are compared to the aromas. So when the air passes through a certain place, say a drain, drainage, if it passes through that, it will carry the stench of the drainage because the air has associated with the drain for a while, and so it will carry the flavor of the drain. But the same air, if it passes through a rose garden and comes to you, then you will smell the rose, right? So the air has no flavor, but with what the air associates, by the smell, you know where the air came from. Similarly, by a person's situation in this life, we can get an estimate of where he came from in his previous life. This is called Purva Vasanaya. Vayur Gandha Nivashaya. So we carry the Purva Vasanaya into this life. Now, that's why it is said, and let's take the next two verses as well. Shrotram chakshuh sparshanam cha rasanam ghranameva cha adhishthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. The living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Like if I get a mouth of a lion and a body of a lion, of course, not mouth of a lion and body of a man, that'll be weird. So if I have the body of a lion and if I have the senses of the lion, my specific set of sense objects will be different from that of the human being, right? I can only eat meat. There's one YouTuber, his name is Dean Schneider. He has lions as pets. He plays with his lions. So once, he brings like animal dead bodies from the forest or whatever, however, to feed the lions. Of course, actually you can just leave them in the wild. But he is choosing to maintain the lions, and they only eat meat. So some people, they commented saying, hey, this is very gross, all violence. How can you, kill animals for this? Then he made one video with many boxes of fruits, all kinds of fruits and fruits actually. So he brought fruits to the lion, and he's trying to put the tomato inside the lion's mouth. He can put, the lion won't bite him, he's a friend on. So he'll put the tomato in the lion's mouth. Then the lion, spits it out and then put a disgusted face. Actually, if you see the lion's face, like disgusted, what is this? And put, nice sweet grapes, spit it out. Every fruit, just spit it out. And he said, see, this is what the lion will do. And I tried to make it vegan, but it doesn't work. So obtains a certain type of senses and enjoys a particular set of sense objects. So every body is different, right? And even among human beings, everybody has different tastes, right? So that is because of all Purva Vasanaya. And this Vasana means not just previous life only. If that is the case, then even a person who is addicted to meat and intoxication and all kinds of bad things, how come he has become, when a person becomes devotee, how come he can give up all of that? How come his taste changed now? Huh? How did it change? Again, Purva Vasanaya. Because once we associate with devotees, our thing changes. It's not just whatever happened in the last life that's etched in stone for this life also. No. Karanam guna sangosya sadasadhyonija. What is that? Sangat sanjayate kamaha. According to our association, we develop our desire. According to whom we associate with, we develop our desires accordingly. So to be born in a particular family, in a particular community, in a particular race or species, this is because of our purva vasana. But in this life, we can also choose to associate. Of course, in the beginning, we are given a set of association. Like the child cannot choose to associate; he can only associate with his mother. Like that boy has no independence. So, but when he has some agency, when he has some independence, then he can choose his association, right? And accordingly he will develop qualities. That's why we see a person who's born in a nice family can be corrupted if he associates with the wrong friends in his adolescent life, and he will get to bad habits and bad things. That can happen. Or person born in a bad family, corrupted family, sinful, but he can become Vaishnava. A dog eater, Chandala, also can become Vaishnava. How? Yenye cha papa yadapashraya shraya shuddhanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Kirata hunandhra pulinda pulkasha abhira shumbha yavana prasadayah yenye cha papa yadapashraya shraya shuddhanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Kiratas, Hunas, Andhras, Pulindas, Pulkashas, Abhiras, Shumbhas, Yavanas, and members of the Khasa races, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to His being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto Him. So, people who are coming from very sinful background, these people who are mentioned here are all below Shudras, Chandalas, Mlechas, they also can be purified completely. And Devahuti says this, 333, 6 and 7, you see. Yannamatheya shravananu kirtanad yat prahvanad yat smaranad apikvachit shvadopi sadyah savanaya kalpate kutah punaste bhagavannu darshanat. To say nothing of the spiritual advancement of persons who see the Supreme Person face to face, even a person born in a family of dog eaters immediately becomes eligible to perform Vedic sacrifices if he once utters the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or chants about him, hears about his pastimes, offers him obeisances, or even remembers him. Such is the purifying power of the Lord. Om apavitrah pavitro va sarva avastham gatopi va yah smaret pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantara shuchihi. Om Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. What is that? If we remember the Lord, yah smaret, if we remember who? Pundarikaksha, the lotus-eyed Supreme Lord, Krishna, then apavitra, pavitrova, whatever is whether considered pure or impure in this material world will be transcendently purified. Because some things we accept as pure, some things are impure. Say, for example, dalda is impure, ghee is pure, right? Now, that ghee will also become transcendently pure if it is offered to Krishna. So, whether pure or impure, impure things, when offered to Krishna, also become purified. What is impure? Our body is impure. Every day we have to take bath. Very pure means why we should take bath. But if it is used in Krishna's service, it becomes spiritualized. Right? So in this way, apavitraha, pavitrova, sarva avastham gatopiva. All kinds of inauspiciousness will be driven away. Yah smaret pundarikaksham sabahya abhyantara suchi. With a shower, we can only cleanse the external body. Heart is still as dirty as ever. That cheto darpanam marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. So that cleansing of the heart will happen by chanting. Why it will happen with chanting? Why it is said cheto darpanam marjanam? First of all, why cheta or the mind is considered a darpana? Darpan means what? Mirror. So mind is like the mirror. Whatever you put in front of it, it will reflect. Right? So whatever we put in front of our mind, it will reflect that. Like if you go and watch one horror movie and come out of the theater, you will be looking everywhere. Where is the ghost? Because you put in front of your mind through the senses some scary picture there, and then you come out, it is still playing. The mind will show us that for some time. So mind is like the mirror. Cheto dharpana. Marjanam. Cleanse. Our mind, our heart will be cleansed by Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana. And why so? Why the holy name is purifying? Why our mind can be cleansed by chanting Hare Krishna? Because, as we said, whom we associate with, Vayur Gandhan, right? Purva Vasanaya. So the flavor of what we associate with, that we bring forward, right? So by chanting the holy name, we are associating with Krishna because there's no difference between Krishna and his name. And Krishna is supremely pure. So we are also getting purified by associating with him. That vasana, Krishna vasana, the flavor of Krishna, we will be imbued with the flavor of Krishna. So that's why all the good qualities of the demigods, not only demigods, actually demigods get their good qualities from where? Ultimately Krishna. The most purest person in this world is a pure devotee because he is completely with Krishna. He is higher than even the devatas, the demigods. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvair gunaistatra samasate suraha harava bhaktasya kuto mahadguna manorathena sati dhavato vahi. Why it is said like this? You see, all the demigods and their exalted qualities such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of the Lord's external energy. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So a person who is a devotee automatically gets all good qualities. Why? We don't need to teach moral education to devotees. Once a person becomes a devotee, he will automatically become a moralist. He will become more of a moralist than even the materialistic moralistic person. Because for the materialist, where is the morals? Where are the morals? For a person who is not a devotee of Krishna, not a devotee of God, not a religious person, where is the morality of that person? He may be so-called honest in his work, in his dealing with other people, but that is still not considered moral until it comes to the point where he accepts Krishna. Why? Because Prabhupada, as Prabhupada said, stena eva sauchate. He's considered a stena, thief, because he gave this example story where a group of four dacoits, they assemble just outside this town, in the outskirts of the town, in the forest area, at twilight in the evening. Okay, and the leader will say, okay, once the sun goes down, today's Amavasya, nobody can see. So let's rob. You go north, I go south. You go east, he goes west. Okay, and we will go, and then we will loot as much as possible. Before sundown, we will come back here, same place, this tree here. Okay, we will meet here, and we will distribute our wealth, whatever we have collected. So everybody goes, steals everything and comes back in the morning. And the leader says, okay, now please be fair, be honest, bring out everything. We have to be sharing equally. So he's talking about equality, honesty, fairness. When all the property is stolen, on the top of stolen property, he is now talking about honesty, fairness, and equality. So this is exactly how a non-devotee is. He will talk about morality, he will talk about honesty, this and that, but you are not giving any credit to God. All that you have is given by Him. So at least acknowledge that first. Like if I take from you something, yeah, I need to make a call. Can you give me your phone? And if you give me, then I make a call and then throw it at you and then go off. What is that? That's not even proper etiquette. I should say thank you. Right? That also not the air we are breathing is given by God. Who did? Oh no, this is O2, oxygen. Okay, where did that come from? Where did the oxygen come from and where did the alphabet O come from? Everything is given by the Lord. The 2 number also given by the Lord. And your tongue to say those words also given by Lord. And your brain to utter those words also given by God. Foolish rascal. And then you say there is no God. Like, there was a joke. Stephen Hawking, the physicist who was disabled, paralyzed. So he died in 2019. So there was a meme that was going on. 2012, Stephen Hawking says there is no God. 2019, God says there is no Stephen Hawking. That's what happens. So this is the problem with atheists. They take everything. So even if they are adept at maintaining their family nicely, or they're honest in their dealings and everything, but they are thieves to start with. So therefore, a non-devotee has no good qualities, whereas a devotee has all good qualities. Now, there was a question. A couple of months back, we were distributing books. So one man, he came to the books and said, so our one devotee was showing, sir, please take one book. Bhagavad Gita is here. Krishna book, Ramayana, Mahabharata also are there. Yeah, I have all the Bhagavad Gita. I have Ramayana. Mahabharata, of course, we should not have. Others all I have. Then I immediately interject. Hello, sir. What did you say? Mahabharata should not be there. Why? Why Mahabharata should not be there? He did not say anything. He was a little bit scared and all that. I said, yeah, I know. Not only Mahabharata, but Krishna Arjuna, this picture also should not be there in the house, they say. Some people. This picture. Why? Because they will be fighting in the house. Yuddha. As if without this picture, there is zero fighting. Everybody is very peaceful. Picture came and then fighting started. Mahabharata came, fighting started. In that estimation, Bhagavad Gita also should not be there, because in the whole Bhagavad Gita, he's saying fight, stand up and fight. Arjuna was sitting down, putting down his arrows and sitting down, I am not going to fight. Nayotsa iti Govinda. I am not going to fight. Look at Arjuna. Evam Uttvarjuna Sankhe Rathopastho Upavishad Visrijya Sasharam Chapam Shoka Sammigna Manasa. He was thinking why I should kill all these people. Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. And finally he said, Nayotsa iti Govinda, I am not going to fight. You see, Nayotsa iti Govindam, Uktva Tushnim Bhagovaha. Having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastised of the enemy, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight. 2nd chapter, 9th verse. And there are 18 chapters. From here starts. Krishna will start convincing Arjuna why you should fight. With your own family members. So why you should have Bhagavad Gita in the house? It is teaching how to fight with your family members. Why you should have Bhagavad Gita? So where is the morality here? People question Krishna's morality. Hey, he induced, he provoked Arjuna to fight. Arjuna was peaceful sadhu. He made him into a fighter and made him kill his family members. And when Karna was, his chariot was stuck, Krishna asked to shoot him, although he was unarmed. Oh, he asked him to cheat, you see. And then Jayadratha, he was being killed. If the sun sets, then that's it, Arjuna would commit suicide. So Krishna made some illusion and then looked like sunset, but actually it was just like a cloud. And then Jayadratha they became a little bit lax in their defense, and then Jayadratha was killed. And if you see, if you cannot have this picture, how you can have Sitaram picture? If you have Sitaram, husband and wife will separate. Wife will be kidnapped. If you have Radha Krishna, there will be extramarital affairs between husband and wife. If you have Prahlad Narasimha, father and son will fight. What picture you want to put? Huh? Huh? Laddu Gopal. Then you will get diabetes. You will get diabetes. What do you want to put? So I can bring out anything from anything, right? So these are all misconceptions, nonsense. They don't understand what is the meaning of Krishna's pastimes. Shiva Parvati. Then material life will start. Maya. So, we can always have interpretations for everything. We have to understand these things from Shastra. We have to understand these things from Shastra. So, there is by gopis running to Krishna in the dead of the night, there is no immorality. If there is, then today there are so many couples, right? Okay. So the woman is chanting Krishna's name. So is she having extramarital affair? Because she's chanting another name than the husband. She's after another man. Or when a man chants Hare Krishna means Radharani, oh, he's having extramarital affair with another woman? What is that? Even demigods, let's say, if a woman prays to Lord Shiva or Ganesh, is it extramarital affair? How can that be the same? So Krishna is the Paramatma, he is accompanying everyone since time immemorial. The moment we meet him, that is the most auspicious union. Therefore, Ras Leela is the topmost Leela. Because it is the union of Krishna with his devotees, leaving aside everything material. They are more than any sannyasis, the gopis. Yashoda, she could tie Krishna. Yogis cannot, capture him even in thought for a few moments. They're struggling very hard to focus on him. If I can't tie him with my thoughts, Bilumangal Thakur, he wrote shloka in the Krishna Karanamrita. Because Bilumangal Thakur was blind. So every time this boy, Krishna, young boy, he will come and give him some milk or whatever, and then have some words. Then he was running away. Bilumangal Thakur was trying to hold him, he was running away. Then Bilumangal Thakur said, I will appreciate your strength if you are able to run away from the core of my heart. He can say, we cannot say that. He's saying, Bilumangal Thakur. But he's saying that I will appreciate your strength if you can run away from the core of my heart. I don't think you can. How strong a devotee should be to be able to capture Krishna and imprison him like that. Yashoda, she could tie him up. How strong she should be? Spiritual strength. So morality. Talking about morality, ultimate morality will be there if one is a devotee. Even though Prahlad did not obey his father, which is considered immoral, right? You should obey your father and mother. When we give up and become brahmachari like this full time, oh, see, you have gone against your parents. What is this? In fact, the irony is that we were in Ahobilam. You know Ahobilam? Narasimha, holy place in Andhra Pradesh. So we went there 2017. So me and my brother went with other devotees, of course. Then we went up to the Ugrasambha and everything. We came to Darshan Navanarsimha. Actually, we took, I think, Darshan of only 7 of them. And then we were coming down. And then we had to go to the bank to do some account, home branch changing, something, some bank transaction. Okay. So we went, we went inside the bank. And because we were outside, me and my brother, we were outside of India for so many years. And there was no communication with our father for years. Then, because of course he was angry. Then we went and tried to do some transaction. And oh, this would, if anybody is there in Hyderabad, this will work. If anybody has an SBI account, State Bank of India. And we just told him, see, actually, honestly, our father is a retired State Bank of India officer. So, oh, then no problem. In 1 second, it will be done. But there's a problem. We cannot talk to him. Why we cannot talk? What happened? No, because we came into this now. So, a little bit upset. So, then he started shouting at us. What is this? What is this? You cannot even obey your father. Why are you coming? Don't even show your face. He was giving lecture. And we said, hello, sir. You are in Ahobilam. Narasimha's holy place. Prahlad, what did he do? Did he obey his father? Please, don't talk. Before knowing dharma, don't talk. Know first what is dharma, then you talk. We told him nicely and we came out. So, the point is, son listening to the father is supposed to, we should, right? Even Bhagavad Gita says. Where is that? I think 17:14. Devadvija Guru Pragna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam 17:14. Brahmacharya Mahimsa Shariram Kapauchyate. Yeah. Austerity of the body consists in worship of the Supreme Lord, Brahmana, spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Krishna is saying, but he disobeyed father. But it is moral, and he is considered one of the 12 Mahajans in the universe for disobeying his father and becoming devotee of Krishna. So the ultimate father is who? Krishna. Ultimate family is Krishna. Ultimate mother. Krishna says this. Where did he say? 9:7. What did he say? Pitahamasya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksamaya jurevacha. Especially the first 2 lines. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rit, Sama, and Yajurveda. He is the mother, father, everything he is. I think there's a Rabindranath Tagore song. Tvameva mata cha pita tvamevam, tvameva bandhu cha sakha tvamevam. But Prabhupada said, who's that rascal, Mata Pita? Who is that? Name him. Because he did not name him. So Prabhupada did not like that song. Because everybody will have their own understanding. Oh, Shiva is my Mata Pita, this and that. So, what? 14:4 he says father. Here he says father, mother, support, grandsire also. Grandfather also. Usually in this world, if the same person is father and grandfather, it's an incest. Right? Do you know what's incest? You know what's incest? So, incest means illicit sex where the father impregnates his own daughter, and then the child that comes out like that, that's incest. And usually they will have mental and physical deformities. Very high chance. That's incest. So, genetically they will be corrupted. So, if suppose the father has a daughter, and then he impregnates her, and then has a child. So, to that child, he is the grandfather and also the father, right? So that's incest in this material world. But Krishna says, I am the father, mother, grandson, everything. But there is no immorality. That is Krishna. Whatever he does, there is no immorality. Whereas here, how bad it is, how sinful it is. So, that is Krishna. So, we have to understand that if we have to be peaceful, and we have to have Krishna in the center. But you see here, Vitta Vyatishanga Vivriddha Vairanubandho. With wealth, what happens? All kinds of, as money, money, what happens? Vitta Vyatishanga means what here? Because of monetary transactions. So we have seen many times this verse. What is that? 15 undesirable qualities. Hmm. 11, 23, 18 and 19. Yeah. So you see this. Steyam hinsanrutam dambha kamah krodhah smayo madah bhedo vairam avishwasah samspardha vyasanani cha ete panchadashanartha hi arthamoola mata nirnam tasmad anartham arthakyam shreyorthi duratasthyajet. If I had time, I would have explained that second verse. So beautifully constructed. I did explain before. But anyway, we'll just go to the translation. Theft, violence, speaking lies, duplicity, lust, anger, perplexity, pride, quarreling, enmity, faithlessness, envy, and the dangers caused by women, gambling, and intoxication are the 15 undesirable qualities that contaminate men because of greed for wealth. Although these qualities are undesirable, men falsely ascribe value to them. One desiring to achieve the real benefit of life should therefore remain aloof from undesirable material wealth. So this is what will happen. So all kinds of problems, as you say, money is the root of all evil. Yes, money is the root of all evil. Of course, it is not money that is the root of all evil. It is my lust, which is the actual enemy. But money will be like the facility, the fuel that ignites the lust. If there is spark, you put fuel and it becomes fire. The spark of lust is there, but money gives facility for it to become a huge fire. So that's why Brahmanas, they try to stay away from material wealth. They rather be poor. They don't want wealth. Dana, pratigraha and dana, they may take donations, like people give what is this, dakshina. He may take, but he will give back everything. He will not keep. He will use it in Krishna's service and then distribute it back to the people for their benefit. Like here, we collect donation. What do? We use it for Krishna and then distribute it as prasadam and maintain this temple so that people can come and have this facility of hearing Bhagavatam class or organize festivals and outreach, reach out more people. Yeah, preaching, purchase books or print books and then distribute that message. So in this way, we're trying to use that money in the service of Krishna and then distributing it back to the people in various forms of services. So that is what a Brahmana should do. Not that, he will take and then big belly and then sons, daughters in US and then their family marriage ceremony, huge from top to toe, gold. That is not wrong. That's what happened in Tirupati. The priests, their sons and daughters were in America, nicely studying big, and they are priests in the Tirupati temple. And then their marriage, they showed off so much wealth. Full, that lady was like full gold. From top to bottom, full gold covered. What did they understand? This is what happens when you focus so much on darshan. Tirupati, what is going on? Darshan. Big program for darshan. Shravan, nothing. No Shravan. Kirtan. Yeah, they're doing something in one corner there. One Kirtan mandap will be there. They will do some Kirtan. Sometimes nobody is there. But that is not. Dharma Prachar should be there. So anyway, coming back to the verse again. Vitta Vyatishanga Vairanubandha. Vivriddha Vairanubandha. It increases with money. Even among family members or even among friends. Over a single coin in this Kali Yuga, even worse. For single coin, they will fight and kill each other. Big countries are fighting over natural resources. What is natural resources? Money only. You translate to money. Oil means what? Money. So, api purva vasanaya mitha udvahati athapavahati. So here it is said, even if one unites as family members or as couple or as friends, they will again separate. Why? And Prabhupada explains this. Even in Krishna consciousness, separation and enmity take place due to the prominence of material propensities. Even in Krishna consciousness. Sometimes, some devotees ask me, Prabhu, how come, devotees, there is separation among devotees? Yeah, that will happen. Of course it can happen. Why? Because devotional service means it's not all same. Devotional service can be done in tamasic, rajasic and sattvic and pure devotional service. Shuddha bhakti. You see? Abhisandhaya yohimsam dambham matsaryameva va samrambhe bhinna drigbhavam mayi kuryat sat tamasah. What is that? Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent and angry and who is a separatist is considered to be in the mode of darkness. So this is tamasic bhakti. So Krishna bhakti in tamogun. Such a person does service, but he is a very envious, proud, violent, angry, who is a separatist. Separatist means what here? His aim is not to surrender to Krishna. He has some other aim. He's not fully aligned with what Krishna wants of him. Something else. So this is Bhinna Drig Bhava. Then next, let's Tamasic Bhakti, now Rajasic Bhakti. Vishayana Sandhaya Yasha Aishwaryameva va Archada Varchaye Dyomam Prithak Bhava Sarajasaham. The worship of deities in the temple by a, again, separatist. With a motive for material enjoyment, fame, opulence is devotion in the mode of action. So he is doing some seva, but he wants recognition. Prabhu, you know who dressed Krishna today? Nice, right? So that is what Krishna is dressed. If I dress Krishna, Krishna gave me the intelligence to dress him, right? So ultimately Krishna dressed himself and we became an instrument in that. He gave us the artistic sense, talent, whatever, and he dressed himself. Actually, we are not dressing him. We are being an instrument in his own dressing. What we can dress him? Actually, if all the cloth will be finished in the world if we have to really dress Krishna. Virat Rupa, Krishna showed his Virat Rupa in Bhagavad Gita. How can you dress him? But he is coming in the form in which we can serve him. He is becoming so small, and so that we can dress him. And even if we do dress him, Who gave us the artistic sense? Who gave us the idea, the intelligence? Krishna. So Krishna is giving us the intelligence and dressing himself. But if I think I did it and I want fame for that, recognition for that, then Rajasic. Bhakti. Bhakti but Rajasic. So there will all kinds of devotees will be there. But why these different kinds of devotees will be there? Because they are not upgrading themselves to higher levels of bhakti, which is sattvic and then eventually shuddha bhakti. Because even sattvic bhakti is not good. Still, it is gauna bhakti in gunas, within the three gunas. So here also prithak bhava. Prithak means separate. He has a different bhava than what Krishna wants of him. Krishna wants us to fully surrender. But we have something else in our mind. Yes, we have Krishna, but not completely. We also want to fulfill some other things apart from Krishna. That is the problem. That is the prominence of material. Today in the purport I just showed, no? Why the separation and enmity happens even in Krishna consciousness? Because of prominence of material desires, prominence of material propensities. This is the thing. And finally, sattvic. Karma nirharam uddishya parasminva tadarpanam yajed yashtavyam itiva prithak bhava sa sattvika. Here also prithak bhava. Even the sattvic devotee is a prithak bhava. He is also separatist. Bhinnadrik bhavam, prithak bhavam, again prithak bhava. All three gunas are separatist. Separatist means we have a separate agenda than Krishna. Our only business is supposed to cooperate with Krishna. His agenda we have to participate in. I should not have another agenda in life. That's why devotee is defined in the 12th chapter, 15th verse or 16th verse. Sarva arambha parityagi. Sarva arambha parityagi. Arambha means start, beginnings, plans, agenda. So he gives up all agendas. He takes up Krishna's agenda and fulfills and participates in that. Krishna's agenda as such. What was Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna had his own agenda. He wanted to not fight with his family members. Krishna said, you should fight. And finally, Arjuna, after hearing the Bhagavad Gita, what is the last verse of Bhagavad Gita? The conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, the last verse is 1873. There are 18 chapter, 73rd verse. 74th to 78th, the last 5 verses are Sanjaya speaking. That I am very happy hearing this conversation. Whoever hears this conversation will be purified. And wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna. He is glorifying Krishna and Arjuna and the conversation itself. The last 5 verses about. 1833, when Arjuna said, Karishya vachanam tava, I will do whatever you say. Bhagavad Gita finished. Krishna stopped speaking. Finished. End of Bhagavad Gita. So the whole point was from taking him from being a separatist to a loyalist. Whatever Krishna you said, yes, I will do that. Before, Krishna wanted him to fight, I don't want to fight. Different agenda. This is Prithak Bhava. And he gave so many Shastric evidence. If we fight, then men will die, then women will be unprotected. So many things. And valid arguments. So he was not operating on simply some pride and some sattvic. He is seeing it through scriptures. But still, you see, Krishna wanted that, no, you should fight. So finally he said, yes, I will fight. And that's it. That was the end of it. So that should come. How much we are close to Karishya Vachanam Tava, that much it is Shuddha Bhakti. And that is explained, that is described in the next verse, the symptoms of Shuddha Bhakti. Madguna Shruti Matrena Maya Sarva Guhashaye Manogatira Vichhinna Yatha Gangam Bhasam Budho Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Hudahritam ahaitukyavyavahita ya bhaktihi purushottame. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of God, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganga flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme God. This is pure devotional service. No avyavahita, it is not interrupted by any other desire, any other idea. So that is pure devotional service. Not wanting anything from the Lord. Na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim, kavitam, va jagadish kamaye, mama janmani janmanishvare. I don't want wealth, I don't want women, I don't want following. I don't even mind taking birth and after birth in this material world repeatedly. But please give me opportunity to serve you, Krishna, in life after life. That is pure devotional service. So the prominence of material propensities is the cause for all enmity, separation. And finally, before we close, I just want to show this verse. Kunti Devi, she said, 1828, Manye tvam kalam ishanam anadinidhanam vibhum samam charantam sarvatra bhutanam yanmitha kalihi. My Lord, I consider your Lordship to be eternal time, the supreme controller without beginning and end, the all-pervasive one. In distributing your mercy, you are equal to everyone. Now, the dissensions between living beings are due to social intercourse. Mitha kali. And it is because social intercourse, what is social intercourse? When people meet. And meet what? Everybody is meeting with his own agenda of fulfilling his own sense gratification. And everybody is coming with that agenda of their own sense gratification. And when they meet, some will cooperate with each other's sense gratification and they become friends. Some people will compete with other sense gratification and they become enemy. Or hindrances in one sense gratification, they become enemy. And some don't help or compete or oppose. So they become neutral parties. In this way, there is dissension, there is calculation that this is my enemy, this is my friend, this is a neutral party. All these things will start because of social intercourse. But really, it's not social intercourse. Everybody is coming with an agenda. Everybody has this lust, vaira. Vidhyanam iha vairinam. That is really causing every problem. So if you have just Krishna in our life, then there will be no problem at all. That's the only solution. So any questions or comments on this point? All right, nothing?
These are like 4 defects.
What?
Yeah, the cheating propensity, illusion,
Hmm.
and you can make mistakes. We have imperfect senses. So with these 4 defects, even if we depend on Shastra is without this defect, but we still have this defect. So how can we not misinterpret Shastra? And
Yes, so this is why Shastra alone cannot be the guide. Because in order to understand Shastra, we need Guru and Sadhu. We need Guru, especially. So Guru, he does not have that, those defects. Brahm Pramad Vipralipsa Karna Pata Arsha Vijna Vakya Nahi Dosha Esa. See? Mistakes, illusions, cheating, and defective perception do not occur in the sayings of the authoritative sages. So the Mahajans, and especially whatever even the Mahajans say in the scripture, we have to understand through Guru. You have to understand through Guru the statements of scripture. Then, yes, that is proper. Otherwise, that's why knowledge has to be received from parampara. Evam parampara praptam. Because so many people are reading Bhagavad Gita, but they're coming to different conclusions, right? And so many people are interpreting and writing commentaries on Bhagavad Gita imperfect, cheating. They're, they're displaying the cheating propensity in their commentaries of Bhagavad Gita itself. So, unless one comes from the parampara, one cannot do. That's why. What is that? Yasya deva parabhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyate katita yartha prakashante mahatmanah. See? Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. That is the secret. What is the question? Hmm? Yeah, so the question is, if we are harsh to our parents and elders when we are executing Krishna consciousness and if they are opposing in any way, yeah. If we are opposing them, if they are opposing us in any way, and if our speech or our actions are harsh towards them, how is that correct? And Arjuna, the purport of 2.4 or 2.5, I think, where Prabhupada explains that we should not even have a verbal altercation with our elders. So, of course, that's the ideal that we should not have. But then, not just verbal, but Arjuna was asked to physically kill. Of course, Krishna does not ask us to do that because we will not be as strong as Arjuna to do something like that. And there is no need in our case. But how much surrender one must have in order to kill one's own grandfather who has actually not done anything wrong, personally. But he sided the wrong side. But he had affection still for the Pandavas. And that person you have to kill. Usually when parents, they oppose our devotional activities, they're against what we are doing. Like Hiranyakashipu was against Prahlad. But Bhishmadev wasn't even against Prahlad. Dronacharya wasn't against, Arjuna. Dronacharya wasn't against Arjuna or Pandavas. But still they have to be killed. That is not an easy thing to do. That's why Arjuna was trembling. Otherwise, he defeated demigods also. For him, it's nothing. But he was trembling because he had to kill his own kinsman. So, yes, the ideal behavior of us should be that we should not have a harsh altercation. But there's also something called the ideal behavior of the parents. That also should be taken into consideration. What is parents' ideal behavior? Gurur sa syat, svajano na sa syat, pita na sa syat, janani na sa syat, daivam na tatsyan, na patischa sa syan, na mokshayedyah samupeta mrityum. One who cannot deliver his dependents from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, relative, father, husband, mother, or a worshipable demigod. He shouldn't have become a father and mother if he cannot deliver his dependents. So, of course, without Prabhupada's mercy, every father and mother will fail here. But because of his mercy, now the father and mother they are actually becoming pious and fortunate. that what the parents did not do, the Guru did for them. They should be thankful that somebody else did their duty. Yeah. But instead they get angry and oppose. So, uh, of course, we will try. Of course, as devotees, we would always try not to have an altercation and have a sensible conversation, make them understand a little bit, because we cannot compromise. Okay, we should have no verbal altercation with our parents, yes. But at what point should the line be drawn? And not at the expense of Krishna consciousness. Because स्मर्तव्य सततम विष्णुर विस्मर्तव्य न जातु चेत सर्व विधि निषेधा सूर्यतयोरेव किंकरा. All the rules, like, oh, you should do this, you should not do this, they are meant to take us to the ultimate do and don't, which is always remember Krishna and never forget him. But if I am following the subsidiary rule very perfectly, oh, I should not, because I'm chanting, Father said, don't chant. Okay, Father, I will not chant. I am very dutifully following that instruction and forgetting the supreme instruction. I'm following the subsidiary instruction, which is blocking my following of the supreme instruction. That is called niyama agraha. Niyama agraha. It means too much following of the rules and regulations, so much so that we forget the aim of those rules. The actual meaning of that rule is, yes, we should obey our fathers who are guiding us in Krishna consciousness. So we should obey. Yes, we should obey our parents, provided our parents are obeying Krishna. Otherwise, like Prahlad, he did not obey. Of course, he did not argue and fight with his father, but he disobeyed by his actions. Verbally, he did not really have an altercation, but whatever he was saying was a fight for the father. It seemed like verbal altercation for him. For Hiranyakashipu, whatever Prahlad was saying was actually insulting him. He was feeling that he is verbally insulting me, being a son. So, but Prahlad was not. He was just telling the truth. So similarly, when we deal with our parents, if the parents are not understanding about our Krishna consciousness, we should state the truth nevertheless. If that seems insulting to them or seems like it is fighting for them, that is how they perceive it. But we cannot compromise on our stand. Last two verses. त्यजन्तु बान्धवा सर्वे निन्दन्तु गुरवो जनाः तथापि परमानन्दो गोविन्दो मम जीवनम्. Let my relatives all abandon me and my superiors condemn me. Still, the supremely blissful Govinda remains my life and soul. Mukundamalā Stotra 39. Then we have 42 also. Chittam naiva nivartate kshanamapi Shri Krishna padambujam Nindantu priya bandhava gurujana Grihanantu munchantu va Durvadam parighoshayantu manuja Vamshe kalankostu va Tadrik prema dharanuraga madhuna Mattayamanam tume. My mind cannot turn from Sri Krishna's lotus feet even for a moment. So let my dear ones and other relatives criticize me. My superiors accept or reject me as they like. The common people spread evil gossip about me. And let my family's reputation be sullied. For a madman like me, it is honor enough to feel this flood of love of Godhead which brings such sweet emotions of attraction for my Lord. Doesn't care. Whatever. And there's a similar verse in Tattvavit also. Right. So that's not exactly in the context of family members.
Yeah. Daily habit and follow the Krishna, don't follow Krishna, don't like that. And that is what should do. Like father and son. If they say son is following the Krishna, father is someone there who is not interested. So in that one, daily is always happening.
Daily there's argument.
Daily, yes, every moment. So that is how we can handle that.
Just say yes, yes, and then do your thing.
But again, he will come back and he will say, no, you are wrong.
Yeah, I will do my own thing, whatever you say. So you can choose to spend your time and energy saying what you want, but I will just do what I want. So if you want to waste your time and energy, up to you. I'm not going to listen.
That is like a disobey.
Yes, yes, you have to disobey. You have to disobey. If you want to have so-called shanti at home,
But with how to convince, how to bring them to same place.
give them prasadam first. Let them eat that prasadam and slowly, slowly. How long they can argue? They will argue as long as they think that you will listen to them, they will try to say something.
Because I saw one family, daily, like one mother is sees for Krishna, but the rest other like husband, son, brother-in-law, nobody's following. And daily they have argued every time. So I said only you like you can pray to Krishna. That's it.
Yeah, that's the fight we have to fight.
But the whole daily fight is that good.
It's good. They're Mahabharata. No, you just have to learn how to not agitate them, at the same time do your devotional service. So sometimes the devotees who are in the beginning stages and not very advanced, they will probably provoke the others. So we should also learn how to. Of course, there will be some argument here and there, but don't unnecessarily provoke. You do your thing. If they argue, they say, I am doing my thing right. I'm not disturbing you. You don't disturb me. Let's have that agreement at least. Like that. That's it. You have to, as long as you don't go and disturb them. And then quietly you give prasadam and then let them eat. They are just thinking they're eating food, but they're actually eating prasadam. Slowly, slowly, purification will happen. So one must learn how to also tactfully do things, but not compromising at the same time. Tactfully means, oh, okay, and then hiding, and then no need to hide. You should do without hiding. At the same time, they should not disturb you while you're doing it. You have to learn how to do that without compromise and yet not provoking as much as possible. All right. Let's stop here. Vrindraj Shrivan Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, somebody is saying you can respect the parents and be devotional. Actually, the devotees are always respectful to their parents. It's the parents who don't, when they're not devotees, they don't respect the choice of the children. The devotees always want to respect the parents. It's not that they want to disrespect. But if the parents are creating so much tumult, sometimes there will be some back and forth. But the respect is there because ultimately, the devotee, by him being a devotee, 21 generations, Narasimhadev said, will be purified. Right? Not only one's parents, but parents, everybody. Trisaptabhe, Sri Bhagavan Vachu. Trisaptabhe pita puta pitrabhe sahatenagha yatsadho sakule jato brahmanvai kulakam. My dear Prahlad, Narasimhadev said, O most pure, great saintly person, your father has been purified along with 21 forefathers in your family. Because you were born in this family, the entire dynasty has been purified. So Khandan Pura, full, not only father, but everybody will get purified if one becomes a devotee. So actually he's doing the best thing, the best respect for his parents by giving them the best thing. But they don't understand for the time being. What we can. We'll try. Okay, so I'll stop it here. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, ताई गो प्रेमानंद।